A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
So Shift, Q, right click, Alt,
I lived here until I
Alt,
was 11,
Zoom.
but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Why are there so many buttons for Zoom? So there's no settings, no main menu, no controls.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Well then. I expected to like nudge it aside and kind of slip past it.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
I
No one
can't
had driven
sprint,
this way
which
in a
makes
long
sense,
time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
yeah, it makes sense that I can't sprint, because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be kind of a slow, story-based, a lot of talking, but I'd like to be able to move slightly faster down this very long road.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
I mean, it looks pretty cool. To the side. Wait, secret path? Wait, actually a secret path?
The
Where can I
woods
go
around the
this way?
house have always been uncomfortably silent, as if they're about to say something but never do.
Alright, apparently I can't walk on that. That's a lot of missing papers. So there's nothing out here. Now I just have to wander all the way back. Alright. Lots of invisible walls. Can I walk up? I can. Oh, okay. Not a whole lot over here. I might just stick to the main paths. Because, I don't know, if there was something over there, like something you would talk about over there, that'd be one thing, but it seems like I kind of just wandered off for no reason. We'll see. We'll see how impatient I get with all the slow walking. Why? I feel like my legs are like stepping faster than I'm moving, right? Like I am stepping that fast. It does match the sound. But
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
yeah, it feels much slower than it should,
Now,
considering how fast
as a
I'm stepping.
17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Secret entrance. Wait. Oh, can I not get in through the front door?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
I think the front door might have been locked, but I never noticed, because I didn't go up to it immediately.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
I thought you didn't like this place.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
I can't unlock the... Oh, it key locks from the inside?
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
That seems like one of the more difficult
The
things
table
to
was
fetch
still a
from
wreck from the night we left.
underwater.
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. Instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Only one restaurant would deliver to our house. We had Chinese a lot. After Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got pretty sick of salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Like their corpses, or like their story? Also, why is there a peephole inside of your house? Can I take the chairlift? No? No chairlift? Alright, fine.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
So that would be why.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Oh, okay.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Well, alright, I'm not done over here though yet.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
So everyone's rooms were kept as well. lot of books.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Just 'cause, right, it seems like these are meant to be a while ago, right, if this is taking place modern day, but I don't know, I'm not entirely sure about everyone's relation to the timing of it all.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Right, so your grandfather's brother. So, but that was when your grandfather was a kid. Which, I mean, still tracks to this being modern day, but...
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Why is Gregory's room just a bathroom? What, did he lived in a bathroom? Okay.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Okay, so she lived one. So, I don't know, I assume that the one who drilled holes in everything would have been more of a child, but I guess it was the old grandmother. Okay.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Saving? Am I about to fight a boss or something?
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own, even tinier gerbil cage.
Well, I hope she wasn't saying anything important just there, because I opened a drawer.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Alright, this is the main door, so what is this door?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Did you eat the gerbil food?
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back. I kept eating and eating.
Ugh.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Those are plastic, are they not? Is this an actual plant?
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
So this whole thing is a dream.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Usually don't just stand in there. What if I go for its children instead?
The babies were all gone.
Oh, never mind.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Oh, I'm like flight simulator. Okay.
Rabbits.
Right, there's one too. I'm pretty sure I missed,
I
but
imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
I wish I could move my head a little bit further up.
A mama rabbit.
Oh, I can aim this. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Hold on then. I thought it just kind of clicked just looking at
She was
him.
almost too big to carry.
It would just
I
happen.
started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
In a tree? That doesn't seem like the right place to be. Oh, I can flop myself.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seeds. I tore off my flipper, and it tasted really good. So hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
So I'm looking for people, huh?
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Tasty. I don't think I can take it up the stairs. Oh, I can. Never mind. I just couldn't see
I
it moving
wanted
at
to
all.
stop, but also I didn't.
We're stuck.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Yep, I'm going up someone's toilet. How do I get off of? Okay. I'm like attached to the
I
ground.
got closer and closer.
It was you all along.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Oh, okay, so there we go. Right. So. Wait, who's. Okay. Right, it's the same account. Okay.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Oh, okay.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Is there something I'm supposed to find in this?
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse his wife Ingeborg, and their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Edith Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Oh, wait, did I close the game somehow? I got to a menu, which I didn't get before, so that's nice. But... Oh, okay, escape just takes you to main menu. Which isn't much of a main menu, but...
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Great-grandma had always been the family's biggest fan. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Maybe over here.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Okay. No, wait, I wasn't ready to... Okay, we're going through.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Can I go back real quick? I can. I didn't get to see if there's anything else in here. It doesn't look like there is, though. Which might be then why they made me automatically go through. Because they realized there wasn't anything for me to stay for. So do I have... I do have a little bit of a crawling
From the
animation.
paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
He went through the whole gauntlet of going outside.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. and that he never talked about him.
That's nice.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Is that what's about to happen?
Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
Am I about to fly?
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
I feel like I'm horrifically close to clipping my broken ankle on the ground.
Not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Alright, I'm flying off the
The
cliff.
day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
I feel like people have made further free dives, so if there's not rocks under the water, you probably would have been
Calvin's story
fine.
felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
But not nearly as successfully, I'm sure.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Can we put it back?
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Interesting.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
So was that better before? I guess, yeah, it probably was. Taking up valuable real estate in the wine cabinet.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
That thing's still working? Looks like it.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
You're not going to talk about
As
the
a
fine
child
quality, colorful
star,
patches?
Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
Jump scared into something dangerous, I assume.
She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Oh, things are actually like just everything is smackable. That's pretty cool. Looks like we have a return sweep as well.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
The
Barb.
crutch.
Have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
I like when games put in details for little things that are like small portions of the game.
Walter, are you there?
Paradise Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Not. She played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Well, that's why the
Wasn't moving,
banister is broken.
but she sensed the story might not be over yet. The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story.
Why did he
As
scream
for
though?
Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Hilarious. That is a bit of an odd one to keep.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Oh, are you gonna make me run the gauntlet? Alright, here we go. No, surely not. Right, is there anything else I can... No, I don't think there is. Windows are covered. Yeah, alright.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Oh, that's right, there's this.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Right? If this is your washer and dryer, I assume people had to go in and out of the basement fairly frequently. So it couldn't have been
Mom
locked all
said
the
the
time.
basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
What button do I push? Okay, then no. What? Oh. I can left click to go in and out of it, but nothing else does anything. It's not rotating it, it's not... Help. Button. Okay. Right. S, nothing. A, nothing. W, nothing. D, nothing. Okay. Alternate them, nothing. How do I open this? Wait, what? Something happened. Wait, I had something for a moment. I have no idea what I did. And now we've got nothing again. Hello? Let's see. Basement. Open fridge. And then circle it. But that doesn't work. But it doesn't work. Like, it's not working. What? just kind of is inching its way along. Sometimes. But I have no idea what triggers it to do that. The first time it was right-clicking, but now that's not doing anything. And... Okay, seriously, what the fuck? Why? Why is this broken? Okay, so what do I... Something's kind of happening. This is beyond stupid. Like...
But after a few days,
Okay, so...
I settled into a routine.
I don't understand. Why is it...
That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
And... Okay, still nothing I can do where I'm at.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
This is wonderful. Put the controller away, but no.
And then one
I
day,
need to reconnect it, get
everything
batteries.
stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Take the batteries out of that, disconnect it. I don't want to burn through those for no reason. Alright. Recording looks like it's still rolling. Good. Don't know why that was so difficult, but keyboard and mouse was just not having it. Wait, anything else? I can't even walk that way, so no.
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin.
Bad luck, stupidity.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Which I imagine it will.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
One day you just got up and walked
I'm
out
going
into the
to
woods.
appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one more day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Did you think he was like alive and just never saw him?
I'm sure my
was
mom
it
was
just
trying to protect me.
he pretended he was dead the whole time? Disappeared from the world.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
It's probably not a great idea to use your trapdoor as part of the ladder, because as you put weight on
But if
that,
she
they
never
could very
told
easily
me
close
about
it
an
on you
uncle
on
under the
accident.
house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
So what did he do every day for 30 years?
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
So is she pregnant, or writing this for a future kid? Or...
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
I'd assume for a future kid.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Like, Molly definitely believed hers. Walter's seems to be completely real. Right? If he just assumes something killed Barbara, no idea what it is, he chose to hide away. Accidentally got himself killed. So... Although I guess we don't actually know what happened to Molly. I would assume she was actually just perfectly fine. But I think it's kind of implied that she died that day. But hers was just a kid having a dream. So, the one that's most up in the air is what actually happened to Barbara.
And when you look at the house,
Oh, and
that
Calvin's...
history of imagination and stubbornness and madness,
Calvin seems entirely plausible.
any of it seems possible.
He accidentally rode a swing off a cliff.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
The kind with a lot of dead people.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
You got the line of herpes.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Those are all nice little
I'm sure
memorials.
Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Yep, okay.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
I wasn't sure because she said she was 17. Right, I think she said she was 17. So it might have been a planning for the future thing, but...
They were both pretty intense.
Then there's no reason to do it now, versus...
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna...
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
What are we looking for?
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Took one of that, but... I can't turn much further.
Nothing quite like being outside.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Wait, I already took one over there, though.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Can't quite get a focus on them. There we go.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere.
You have to take pictures of things, I guess, to stops.
I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time.
It's supposed to be Dad.
Give me a minute to check the map. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
I'm trying, but not really, no. There's our gear. And crutch. And the gun. I can't get a good focus on the book. No, I really can't find anything more interesting to photograph. What am I supposed to be taking a picture of?
eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
I would assume I would know where she is. Right?
Dad, I...
Just be. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don!
Nice reaction on that.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
sick.
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Unlucky?
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
About Sam? Alright. Well, hold on a minute. I wasn't done in here yet.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Alright, I guess that's it. Careful where you put your feet. We're just kind of like... I feel like you should stand on the beams themselves, but... whatever. Do you, I guess.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Alright, whatever.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Bend over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
Gonna let the ducks perform.
as he saw. It sure made him happy.
Am I supposed to try to flip this guy? There we go.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being so happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us.
So he drowned
The
himself?
world he saw. There's so much I don't understand.
I got the duck. I heard it.
About Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her. We don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. To make this try.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to
Come here.
But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. Thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
So if all the people were inside the tent, then what happened to them? Oh, hey, wait, hold on.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Your mom went up this wall every time? I guess when she was a kid, that makes sense. Not yet.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Wait, so now what? Is there something up there I missed? I must have. I'm not sure where else to go. So what did I miss? Alright, it's not that. I don't see anything. Oh, the window. Haha.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
So we had a nice orderly garden. Pile of pots. And I have no idea what that would be.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
I feel like this building is not up to code, also.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Oh, they didn't want to put the entire thing there? Peel some of these off. See what's on the other side. Alright, can't open that. No.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Oh, this is a climbing rope. No. Okay, I pulled a platform. I was gonna say, there's no way I just pulled myself up that. But you can hear the mechanical stuff moving.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush. I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
So it's interesting that death isn't on the door, but it isn't here. So looks like it's just Lewis then.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Is there a way up? Not from here. I have to go back. I have to say, you look at it and it's like the graphics aren't super realistic or anything, but the game is very pretty. It's all pretty well done. Ah, I hit it behind the door so I wouldn't walk into it immediately.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
What the fuck did Lewis have to do with any of it?
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Ah, it's broken. Can't just like grab this edge. No? Okay. I've been doing all this other climbing. No. Wrong button, maybe? Yeah, it's W, not S. I don't know why it auto let go every time, but
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Are we done here already? No, here it is.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it.
I can do it.
He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that had not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously.
I was gonna try and grab the fish.
I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
myself.
That all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Right this way.
Beautiful prince.
Nice bright colors. Messing up my fish job.
The prince was on his own quest for...
I can't grab the fish. I can't grab the
radiant
fish.
rainbows.
There we go. Why have I become so much
He
choppier?
followed the sound of his... silver harp.
Why is the fish animation so clunky? Grabbing him further back. Something ain't right.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Grab the fish.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
It's starting to trip me up. My rhythm.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
I can tell by the way my hand's getting choppy, I'm just gonna shove my arm right into the thing one of these times.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it
See how
struck
hard
him
it slams to the
that
right.
the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know.
Well, I didn't lose a hand in that little
I think it
bit.
pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Alright, can I sneak under this? Probably not, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Under. Alright, can I interact with myself? No. I'm assuming I just go get canned then.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't myself.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Put it in his head. Put his head in it, rather.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Do I get to my room? Is my room at the very top?
On the way
They
back
put a
from Lewis's
transition there.
funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
I thought you were
But I
afraid of the house.
understand why we left.
Oh, is this for both me and Dawn?
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Yeah, we got our own little mini house up here.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now was to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
I thought for a minute there was something over on the left that said I could interact with it.
When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
I mean, it seems kind of obvious. It's got a handle. It's right next to the door. I mean, how'd you miss that? Come on. You think the handle was just
The
on the
thing you're
window?
afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Who am I playing as?
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
Playing as Grandma. Seemed to be getting around pretty well, considering. Oh, was it 1917? It said she was born, I think. So.
God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
I didn't. I've been walking straight this whole time, but...
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
I think I'm still going mostly straight, though.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Hey.
Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
I still have the relevant half of the book, though. I already read all that part.
I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Hey, that clipping I see?
A few years went by.
My fingers clipped. I saw that.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Planning for your own death and writing a journal to your child. That's one way to go about this.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
I can't believe that was almost 2 hours. It did not feel that long. And it also somehow felt longer. It's good storytelling, I guess. Yeah, it seems like we went through a lot of things. And yet none of them must have taken very long. And yet the whole thing together seems like it didn't take nearly as long as all the things should have. Why pictures of them all as children, though? Oh, okay. Alright. I'm not going to be replaying anything, because I don't think this is the kind of game that has secrets or anything. I think it's just a story. It's a pretty good one. Nice and short, but good enough to sort of write a full arc for itself. Good game. I can see why it's very highly reviewed. I thought I would get bored having to walk so slow, but I think it spaced everything and filled everything just right to where it didn't feel boring or like I was just stuck walking forever, even though that's all I was doing, was just walking. Now, if only the cannon opener had worked.